welcome to what the fuck. Few things. Tuesday, no, nothing. Here, put it right there for you. Tuesday night. I don't know if I think it was in some of the papers. Tuesday night ratings were very good. We dropped down like the normal amount we drop down from year to year, like between 18 to 22%, depending on the category, which is pretty much identical to what we did last season, and so that's all good. We were up from episode 2 from last year, so you know, the show continues to grow an audience, which is amazing, you know, in any capacity, in any season, but especially in season 6. And I gotta tell you, it's so gratifying. And I've shared this before. I don't watch Breaking Bad, not because I don't know or suspect what a wonderful show it is. It's just creatively, it's a little bit too close to what I do here, and you know, and I'm sure once I stop doing this show, I'll do what a lot of people do, and I'll binge on that show. But I mean, I know, I don't know Vince personally, but I know of his work, and I know what a talented dude he is, and I know a couple of people who have worked on that show, and clearly the actors are top notch. But it's so gratifying to see that show, and I tweeted about this just because, you know, I'm a dick. But like, that was just the bastard child of AMC, you know. That was a show the critics loved, but really didn't do a lot of numbers, and they just basically shit all over it and threw it under the bus, you know, and barely brought it back for a last season, you know, because they were throwing all the money at that other show they have, the other period drama. And so it's just so gratifying to see a show that was basically written off by the network, you know, be resurrected and brought to a level solely on the basis of the work, solely on the fact that the writing, the acting, the directing is superb. Word of mouth, the fan base grew organically, you know, thanks to the same thing that grows our fan base, which is you know, which is the help of digital media and people being able to watch it on Netflix and DVDs and iTunes, and so to see that show do the numbers that it did, you know, coming into its last run here, it's just, man, it's just so cool for Vince and that cast to sort of go out that way and basically say, you know, to be recognized, if not by their own family, you know, by everybody else's family. So I applaud them and congratulations, and I don't just say that, you know, and I don't say this just offhandedly. I actually really am looking forward to sitting down and spending about a week or two of ingesting that show. And you know, and I know that's the same reason why our fan base and our viewership grows. It's absolutely because of digital media, and word of mouth, and all that great stuff. You know, I'm lucky that I have a network that believes in the show and supports the show and throws a shitload of money at the show, and really, you know, we have an amazing marketing department, you know, Stephanie Gibbons and her team, and you know, I mean, I'm fully supported, and that plus you know, the appeal of the show is sort of what puts us what put us where we're at in terms of the numbers. So that's really cool. and that's all good. Where are we at? We are. I just did the mix today for. What did I do the mix for? 605, 606. And oh, that's right. We had to actually do it out of order. So I did the mix for 605 today and 606 last week because of some availability of people. And so that's coming along. I'm supposedly doing my draft of episode 12. And that's due. That's due 3 days ago. It's that time of year. I'll crawl into the hole the next 4 or 5 days and do that. And then we bring it home. We just finished breaking the finale this week. And my great writing team, led by Chris Collins, is I think it'll be a satisfying ending to a somewhat tumultuous season, as if any other season has not been, could not be regarded as tumultuous. So that's all good. We are. My wife is actually filming, working today, so they're shooting episode 11 right now. I actually managed to get a script in for that one, and all good. You had an opportunity to see Katie and the Forest Rangers at the El Rey. I'm sure you had a good time. The fan reaction was great. The house was packed, and that was awesome. And that's all due to Bob Thiel and his effort to put that show up, and just innately knew that putting together the right elements in the right space, that you could have a night like that, and hopefully we'll do more. Katie had a blast, and she gets to tie it in. She's got a new album coming out, so it all sort of works symbiotically, and it's sort of the show. But I read a great review today of it, where it starts out where it's like, oh, it's about the TV show, and then like 10-15 minutes in, it has nothing to do with the TV show, and it's all about the music, and it's all about these amazing artists that are up there, and these amazing singers, and these great either original pieces or classic pieces. So the show just sort of goes out the window. The show is sort of the it's the sign, it's the neon sign that gets everyone in the door, and then it just becomes about the music, and it's very cool. So congratulations to Bob Thiel and to Katie for that show, and Frankie Perez and everybody, and the whole gamut of Forest Rangers who were there. I had some other things to complain about, but I'm really fucking tired. So my bird is eating peanut butter out of my beard. Let's go to the questions. Our first question is from Jamie. And Jamie, where are you from? Jamie, I don't know where Jamie is from. Maybe Jamie will tell us. Okay, Jamie, ask away while I, tongue kiss my bird. Hello, baby.
How much of an impact do you think music has on a show like Sons of Anarchy, the role it plays in certain scenes, and do you have a favorite scene where you thought music really impacted that scene?
Jamie asks, how much impact does music have on your show? And how is it used to impact the scene? Do you have certain scenes where you think music will help the viewer feel the emotional impact of the scene? Yeah, I mean, I clearly, music is a big part of my process, always has been as a writer. Even when I was writing features and plays too, I always had the soundtrack and the music was always a part of my process, and to the point where a lot of times, I would incorporate songs in the script, and even if I knew ultimately that that's not a writer's choice, perhaps that's a directorial choice, but I would often do that to convey a point of view or mood or tone or energy. And that's what I feel like music does. How it usually works on the show with music is like for the montage pieces, and I'll have a sense of what I want, and sometimes it's a specific song, sometimes it's a genre, and I'll throw it in the script, or I'll bounce it off of Bob, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And then if it doesn't work, Bob usually comes up with a few other ideas. And then all the other music that's in the show, the stuff that's in the clubhouse, the other partial montages that you hear, the energy and the sound throughout the show, those are choices that Bob makes, and Bob always sort of gives me some options, and then we'll pick them out, and but then Bob's also my composer, so what'll happen is we'll pick a song and a genre, and Bob will get together usually with some of the forest rangers, and we'll try to find a singer. We have a lot of go-to guys we love now, Noah Gunderson and Joshua James, and the Lions, and White Buffalo. We have great gallery of talent that we're able to tap into, and then we're always looking for new people as well. Frankie Perez does at least one song for us every year. Billy Valentine, Katie. We have just this great lineup of singers, and so we'll go in and we'll figure out whose voice is right, and the great thing is that because it's Bob, we'll drop it in against picture, and it'll be like, it's not working. It's too produced, and a lot of times we'll end up stripping it down, and all right, now it's too stripped down, and we need more, So I can say to, I'm not a musician, but I can say to Bob, it's missing, it's missing energy, or the rhythm, the pacing is off. And Bob, we've been doing this for a minute, so our shorthand is pretty good, and we'll back and forth, and again, it's the magic of digital media, is we can just do it. He's there in his studio with Pro Tools, just sending me, music clips, and I'm listening to it and giving some feedback, and that's really how we're able to work. So it's one of the parts of the show that I really love, I'm not a musician, but I love writing lyrics, and I usually try to write at least one or two songs, lyrics for one or two songs each year, and I'm able to do that with Bob most of the time. So it's cool, and yeah, we do it for all that stuff. It's all about the emotionality of a song. It's all about the rhythm and the pace of the song. It's all about what song best helped tell the story. What song best helps fuels the power of a scene, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. We tend to drop in some, some rockers and some punky songs and during our action sequences, and sometimes it's really fantastic, man. It's just symbiotic, and it fuels it, and it feels organic and real. And then sometimes it just doesn't work. Sometimes it just feels like we're trying to crank up a scene that needs music, and a lot of times, we had a scene this season that on the page it had fucking, Social Distortion or somebody, Black Flag. It had this kick-ass, it just looked like it needed this kick-ass song. And we tried a few songs and nothing worked. And then finally we just let it play with organic sound and a little bit of dialogue. And that was clearly the way to go. It didn't need music. Music did not help that scene. So it's really about, using music to enhance rather not to disguise or to or to make up for something that's not there organically. So, Jesus Christ, that was like a 30 fucking minute answer. I always talk more when I'm tired. So our next question, which I promise I will answer with a lot more, with a bigger edit of myself, is from Anthony from Brooklyn, New York. And Anthony, why don't you ask me your question?
Are you ever going to show how the prospects actually get into the club? If there's any kind of initiations or ceremonies or anything like that?
That reminds me of a sad story, Anthony. Perhaps it won't be a quick answer. It's interesting, the tragedy that, do I want to talk about this? Fine, yeah, I will. I'm too fucking tired to actually give a shit. The tragedy of Johnny Lewis, obviously people know, what happened with Johnny, and I didn't, that's not the Johnny I knew, Johnny Lewis was a really sort of very quiet, centered, almost, like the definition of mild-mannered, and when he was on this show, and he was a very contemplative dude, and was always sort of in the corner reading, and I liked the guy. I just dug his energy, and obviously, he had a run in which took him down a different path, and began what I can only assume was some sort of that began as some sort of exploration into something perhaps a little bit on the wild side, ended up going horribly wrong. But Johnny's character was a prospect, and my intention for that character was really to use that character of Halfsec to tell the trajectory and to tell the story of how one progressed within the club in terms of rank, and so we saw him as a prospect, and the plan was always to sort of let him prospect for a year or so, and then patch him in and see what that looked like, and the pressure of that, and what does that first year look like, and how does one transition from being a prospect to a full patch, and that was really the plan, and Johnny, ultimately, Johnny was not happy, and perhaps that was the beginning of maybe what began to ail him, but he was, I think he felt unsatisfied. I think he felt that, inherently that character who is a prospect is outside the club. So I think there was a part of Johnny that felt like he was not being included in the more important arcs of the show, and it was just the nature of the character. And we had several creative conversations about the challenges of that, and trying to keep him plugged in and keep it real, and what would a prospect know, and how much would he be involved in, and only having a certain amount of screen time to give to secondary characters. So it's not like I could just suddenly have give Halfsec his own sort of trajectory or separate storyline. So it was a struggle for him, and at the end of the day, he really made the decision that he wanted to move on and do other things. And we have options on people, we have contracts, but I'm never going to hold an actor to his contract, or I probably shouldn't be saying this, but me personally, the studio and network have different priorities, but me personally, I'm never going to keep an artist engaged in something that they don't feel fulfilled in or they don't want to do. That doesn't serve me, it doesn't serve the show, it doesn't serve it doesn't serve them. So, we had conversations about how best to get Johnny, how best to let that character go, and what was a cool and noble and exciting way for Half-Sec to go out. And then he went out as a hero. He went out in defense of a trying to defend Jax's child being taken by by the Irish. So that ended up being their way to make that happen. But and that's just a very long, sad story for this question. But we have a couple prospects now, and whether or not we're going to be able to find time as the seasons get crunchier and more condensed and intense, we'll see if we have time to tell that story. But I hear you, and I'm a little frustrated myself that we haven't been able to tell that story, because I do think it's a big part of that process, and hopefully we'll have time to at least honor it a little bit. But thanks for your question, Tony. Thank everybody, and again, I apologize. I'm at the 4-hour mark here. So myself, and on behalf of myself and, can you say your name? Fucker. Behind myself and Fucker, and my friend here, appreciate we appreciate all your support, and come back on Tuesday, and I'll keep doing this shit, and I'll keep feeding you pistachios.